Well guys, I have to be completely honest with you. It takes a lot to get me excited this time of year because it is constantly poopy and cold outside. Except for when it's Hot Take Tuesday. Damn, that was corny. Alright guys, so just like the title of this video says, I am going to be giving you guys my hot take review of the new-ish 7Artisans Spectrum Mini Cine lenses. That of which I only have the 50mm of, so that's the one we're going to be taking a look at. But real fast before we get into the video, I did want to stop and say thank you guys so much for everything that you've done. It means so much to me, and I feel so extremely privileged to be part of a caring and creative and talented community on this platform. So again, I just wanted to say thank you guys. And now let's get into the video. So earlier this year, 7Artisans took the world by storm when they released the Spectrum series of Cine lenses. These are not only just for full frame cameras, but also come in a native L-mount platform, which I know me and all my people repping L-mount Alliance were very excited about. Couldn't wait to get our hands on one of these little Cine lenses. So I have had the privilege of using this lens on a couple of different projects now, and I have to tell you, right off the bat, this thing has two big things going for it. One being how cheap these lenses are, and two being how damn sharp this lens is. If you're looking to get into a 35mm, it's going to be $419. The 50mm is going to be $379, and the 85mm is going to be $459. If you're trying to get the 35 or the 50mm, you are going to be hard pressed to find them available in an L-mount platform. Hopefully that changes soon, but I've been keeping pretty close tabs on it, and they've been out of stock or back ordered for a while now, so we'll see. And as far as the sharpness goes, I'm sure you're wondering, well, how sharp are they? That's how sharp they are. Alright, but in all seriousness, this thing is extremely sharp. I put it up against my Sigma Art 24-70, which yes, I know is a zoom lens, so it's not complete apples to apples comparison. However, it does cost twice as much, and it's the only thing I had. I started off looking at both with them wide open, and both images were pretty soft. But when you move the 7Artisans up to T2.8, that's when you can really see a difference. Because if you're looking at both lenses at T2.8, the 7Artisans is definitely a lot sharper. And then bumping both lenses up to f4, you can tell the Sigma definitely does get a little bit sharper, but still not as sharp as the 7Artisans, and that trend follows all the way down the line. One other big thing I did notice when I was doing this testing was the color reproduction out of this lens is definitely a lot cooler than the Sigma is. But it's still not anything you can't fix in post, and when it came to comparison against the Sigma, it looked to be about 250 Kelvin cooler than the Sigma. And I did use both of these lenses together when I shot a short teaser for a mini doc that I'm doing with my friend Obey. If you want to see some more examples of this lens being used in a real world environment, you can check out that video. I'll link it down below in the description. And about 85% of those shots in that were shot with the 7Artisans, so go check it out. No excuses, S5, focus. So the first time I pulled this thing out of the box, I remember thinking to myself, damn, that boy thick. Because she's got some heft to her, that's for sure. For being such a short, stubby lens, this thing really has some weight to it. And it's not like it's overly heavy for a lens, it's just a lens that is this small you wouldn't think would weigh that much. Like if I put it next to my Sigma 16-28, which is normally my smallest lens that I have, this is actually smaller than that, but almost weighs twice as much. It's a heavy little stubby lens. And I haven't had any issues with getting it to balance on a gimbal. Overall, I think it is built well. The gears all turn real smooth. The focus and the iris are both very smooth and tight, but not too tight. The only issue I have is with the mount. And I don't know if it's like this for all of the mounts, but what I will say for the L mount, or at least the one that I have, and you guys can let me know if your guys' is the same, but it is very loose on the camera, for damn sure not weather sealed. And when I'm using a follow focus, you can see sometimes a little bit of jiggle in the image from it not being tight against the camera. But yeah, let me know in the comments if your guys's are like that as well. Other thing that I like about the build quality is the fact that they put 82mm threads on the front of this thing. That is a godsend, because that way I can use all of my normal filters that I have with this lens, as well as put it in a matte box and then still be able to use those filters. On the Amazon page that I bought this lens from, I love the fact that it says almost no focus breathing. There's almost zero focus breathing. 100% a lie, because there is definitely a lot of focus breathing, which for me, that's not a huge like deal breaker, but don't put on your thing that it has no focus breathing when it absolutely does have focus breathing. So just something to be aware of when you're going to buy one of these lenses. All right, and that leads me up to my final complaint about this lens, and it is my biggest complaint about this lens. So let's talk about it. Sunstars. Which I know sounds a little weird, and I did not think it was going to be as big of an issue as it turned out to be. But when you point this thing at any bright light source, it literally looks like you have a stage 5 razzle dazzle filter on your lens, because the Sunstars are obnoxious. And if you're shooting in a studio environment or you're shooting during the day, that's not going to be a really big issue if you're not pointing at any like direct sun or super bright lights. But I noticed when I went out towards like downtown area at nighttime, especially with Christmas lights up, you can definitely see there's an issue with the Sunstars. That being said, I still think pretty much every issue I have with this lens you can work around, to the point where it is still a super good value for the money you have to spend to buy it. And that kind of brings me back to the point of going out and using your gear and practicing, because that way you figure out what your limitations are with the gear that you have. There's a gentleman that made a really nice comment on my last video, went something along the lines of, I went out and I shot, and I found out my tripod's a little creaky, and one leg doesn't go down all the way like it should have. Those are things that you're only gonna find out if you go out and shoot. And then once you find out, then you can plan for them, but you can't plan for something that you don't know it's there, if that makes sense at all. But yeah, Sunstars are bad, but if you're always shooting in a studio environment and you can have control over all your lighting, not gonna be a big deal. So that being said, I am super duper grateful for you guys. Thank you so much for watching my videos and commenting and liking and doing all those nice things. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel yet, it would mean the world to me if you did. But more so than that, please go out and make a nice comment on somebody's video, because I still believe that just can make the biggest difference in somebody's life, and you don't know what everybody's going through at every given point during the day. So one small comment on a YouTube video takes 5 seconds for you, but that could make that person's day or their week or their month. So again, just go out and be nice to people. It's not hard to do. Just think of that puppy's little face when you're going out there and commenting on somebody's video, and just know, like, damn, that puppy's gonna know if I comment something shitty on this video. I will link the Obey teaser in the description down below. I just had to say that like 35 times to get it right. And if you guys have any questions about these lenses or this lens in particular, definitely let me know. Oh, one other thing, I did also make a Patreon page, which I don't know how I'm gonna utilize yet, but I've been getting a bunch of questions about stuff that I would like to go into more detail with, so I might do that on Patreon. And I promise you that it is most definitely, probably, possibly gonna be worth it to sign up for Patreon. Again, I hope you guys have a great day and go out there and enjoy all of life's random realities. Bye-bye now.